international football tournament featuring Sri Lanka, Maldives, Seychelles, and Bangladesh. And in the commentary box, I've been joined by Rahul. Good evening, Rahul.
Good evening, Jana. Football is back. The two teams warming up for the first match and together in the commentary box after a couple of months, Jana.
Yes, very, very happy because the international matches are back here in Sri Lankan soil. So today's match, we're going to have two exciting teams facing each other. Of course, the tournament is held in Sri Lanka, so Sri Lanka does feel this home advantage, and already the scenes are bustling here. We got the Papare bands, we got the fans, we got the away fans as well. So quite excited here. You can see the Sri Lankan team just warming up here.
The Golden Army in action as we see the two teams doing some small routine warm-ups.
Yes, correct. And there you see the away fans, the Maldivians, always punching above their weights, even though low in numbers, but very talented side.
But even though low in numbers, there is a lot behind them as well.
Yeah, so passionate also.
For example,
the same tier team almost.
Absolutely, because they are all very close to each other, except for Maldives, who are 156. But still, for all four teams, it's a very good chance to have a competitive tournament and have matches with teams that are at least close to their skill level, to give not only the players some exciting experiences, but the Sri Lankan fans as well, to witness some good competitive football.
Correct. Sri Lanka last won a huge major trophy. That was way back in 1995, the SAF Championship. Since then, it hasn't been Sri Lanka's way. So there is a few ups and downs. But a tournament like this can boost the morale, especially if either of the team wins. It gives a very good platform to the upcoming footballers from the country, and also it builds a very good fan base to just catch up on it and the game to grow as well.
Absolutely right. As we see the numbers growing with the Maldivian fans.
Yeah, there is a quite sizable community of Maldivians living in Sri Lanka as well, for studies and evening ceremony as well.
Absolutely, and as we were discussing earlier, Jana, Sri Lanka did play two major tournaments coming into this, as you said, and even though we didn't get the results we want, Sri Lanka would have wanted, they still did have a few matches where they played very unexpectedly. So they can beautiful skyline of Colombo, a cloudy skyline.
Yes.
But hopefully the players and fans alike will be hoping that the rain stays away. But it's a beautiful evening for football in Sri Lanka, as we see the beautiful sight.
There you see the Maldivians fans turning up in numbers with the flags. Of course, you can see the uniformity in their dress code, and you can see the Colombo's skyline, a stunning one.
Comes to a football game or a football tournament, and it just goes to show you the development happening for football in Sri Lanka. And it's really good to see the amount of Maldivian fans who have come to the race course to support their team,
waving their flags.
Indeed, as you mentioned earlier, from South Asia, one of the most passionate fan bases you get, and I'm sure we'll be hearing their voices.
So as you see, players quite relaxed, lots of smiles going on. The Maldivians fans also huge smiles in their face. They are all ready to cheer up their team.
In the SAF Championship against Nepal, and it just takes one strike like that to put a team in front, so it could swing either way. As we see the likes of Wasim Razik, Charita Ratnayaka, those are
Maldives fans all turned up in numbers. And so passionate, the fans. You can see. A short while ago, you saw there Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, His Excellency Rajapaksa on the screen a while ago. the scorecard and also the scoreboard is ready here. You can see everything ready for the kickoff. It's you saw there His Excellency the President of Maldives, Ibrahim Mohammed Soli, making his way to the match. So there is quite some honorable members here to witness the match. As we told you, the President of Maldives making his way towards the pavilion to enjoy this match.
And more than anything, another fan for Maldivian football here to witness his team, and both teams really will be looking to perform for both of their supporters, the Sri Lankan home supporters as well as a large number of Maldivian away supporters. So it will be a cracking game indeed, because both teams will be going for it, which is the case either way. But as we see, even in the upper stands, the numbers are just growing and growing, which is a beautiful thing to see, especially during these pandemic times.
Of course, Rahul, after about at least 2 years, international football returning to Sri Lanka, and there you see Minister of Youth and Sports Affairs. It's
absolutely a beautiful moment shared between the Honorable Minister Namal Rajapaksa and His Excellency the Maldivian President. But that is what the beautiful game of football can do. It unites people and it unites nations.
The President of Maldives affectionately spending some time with His Excellency Honorable Namal Rajapaksa's kid. We're just a few minutes away from the kickoff.
Well, we have good news. And the good news is that international football has
And Rahul, it's okay. I have to say that the weather is okayish. It's actually a very good factor, because we had rain the whole week. And today the conditions are really good. It's playable.
It's a relief to see, because there was continuous showers yesterday, but fortunately, at least for now, the skies have somewhat cleared and it is a beautiful evening. And the advantage for Maldives will be that it's not hot as it usually would be in Sri Lanka at this time. So the weather advantage just kind of evens out.
And also I think it's better for both the teams, because when you play under a bit cool conditions, you don't get dehydrated very quickly, so you can just show your game for longer hours.
Absolutely, as we see, Maldivian fans of all ages have flocked to the racecourse stadium to see this. Really, I think when this tournament came up, out of all the matches, this would have been one of the encounters to look out for, as well as a few others. But for both these teams, playing in the very first match, no less, of the inaugural Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa trophy.
Sri Lanka and Maldives sharing traditions for several thousand years. It's a long history between both the nations, both aiding each other through tough times and also during good times. So as Rahul said, this is one of the highlight of this tournament, this game, one of the major matches.
But a lot of other matches to look forward to, because as you said, there are two other countries who we are yet to see Bangladesh and Seychelles. And Seychelles, especially a team from the African continent, from the CAF Federation.
Correct.
So a team where most Sri Lankans and also Bangladesh and Maldivian fans have not really seen in action before, as well as the players. So they could be the dark horse in the tournament because we don't really know what to expect from them.
Correct, Rahul. And also now this tournament has almost spanned into 2 continents now, Asia and Africa. So it gives already a very good tournament. So it gives even more stature to the tournament. The Maldivian fans with their vuvuzelas, with their flags, just coming in numbers with the Maldivian dress code and the t-shirts. The Colombo skyline, the stunning Colombo skyline is here.
Absolutely a beautiful, breathtaking sight indeed. The city of Colombo can be, especially when from a viewing angle like this, not a sight we are usually blessed enough to see, but who said Colombo can't be beautiful?
Absolutely, Rahul. So much of greenery. So much going on in terms of development and construction. The infrastructure is booming.
Absolutely, you can
in
see
the
all
last decade or so.
You can see all the high-rise buildings, but what's good to see is it's in a mix of a lot of greenery as well. As we see the Maldivian numbers growing every time we look in their direction. But let's not forget the amount of Sri Lankan fans who are coming as well, eager to see the Golden Army battling it out on their home turf. And it will be, as I said earlier, I think, if I'm not mistaken, after 2019, the first time Sri Lanka will be in action in their home country. So a lot of expectations, you could say, on them, but a lot of excitement among the fans to see them in action yet again. We are not it's not a long time away now from kickoff.
You can see the official song.
The official anthem of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa 2021 trophy.
And I see already getting ready for the opening ceremony. We got the local dancers just making their way. We have a opening ceremony here. Yeah, you can see the drummers walking out, followed by the dancers.
Inaugural Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021, and just moments away from the opening ceremony. A traditional Sri Lankan opening and a traditional Sri Lankan welcome for all the Maldivian fans and all the international fans and players who have come to Sri Lanka for this tournament.
the glitz, the glamour, the excitement, and also a touch of Sri Lankan culture as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a fabulous, colorful opening act, very especially for you.
That was the opening ceremony.
Now, as you
Dance
know,
performance,
as was mentioned, we have
especially
four nations,
dance
Seychelles,
form of
Bangladesh,
Sri Lanka,
Maldives,
traditional
and Sri
dance
Lanka.
form.
And in this
So we're just a few minutes away from the kickoff now, with the opening ceremony done as well.
For a very important trophy. Well, up to now, none of you
just joined, this is
seen that
Prime
trophy.
Minister
And we are
Mahinda
now going to
Rajapaksa Trophy
unveil that
2021.
trophy. Ladies and
It's a
gentlemen,
Four
get ready
Nations
for that
International
special moment,
Football
as we would like to
Trophy
very warmly
tournament.
invite
It's Sri
the
Lanka,
President of the
Maldives,
Republic
Bangladesh
of
and
Maldives,
Seychelles playing.
His Excellency Ibrahim Mohammed Solih, the Minister of
So today's match, it's the home team Sri Lanka
Youth
taking on
Sports
Maldives.
and,
Maldives
Community
definitely the stronger team of
the
the
Honorable
four.
Ahmed Mahloof, the Minister of Youth and Sports in Sri Lanka, the Honorable Namal Rajapaksa, and the President of the Football Federation of Sri Lanka, Mr. Jazwa Omar. In their presence, ladies and gentlemen, this is the unveiling of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy for the inaugural
you see, that's
Four
the
Nation
trophy
Invitation Football
unveiling.
Tournament. Wow, have a look at that. Ladies
His
and gentlemen, just to
Excellency
give you a
President
small
of
detail,
Maldives,
this trophy is designed
Ibrahim
using
Mohammed
valuable
Solih.
Sri Lankan
At the same
natural
time,
quartz stones
Honorable
certified by gemologists.
Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports,
That's the trophy
Namal
everyone's eyes
Rajapaksa,
are on, including the 14
both in
Seychelles,
front of the trophy,
Bangladesh,
along
Maldives,
with
Sri Lanka. Who do you
President
think
of
is
Sri
gonna
Lankan
win?
football.
Who do you think is going to win?
The Maldives team has turned up in numbers in terms of their fans. Very passionate fans waiting for the kickoff.
Thank you very much to Your Excellency Ibrahim Mohammed Solih, the President of the Maldives, and to the other distinguished invitees. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And that's a very colorful item that we have just completed, and now we are getting ready for action on the ground here at the racecourse in Colombo, Sri Lanka, as we're getting ready for the inaugural match of the
see Maldives
inaugural
fans
Four Nation Invitation Football
turning up in numbers.
Tournament organized by the Football Federation of Sri Lanka in conjunction with the Ministry of Youth and Sports in Sri Lanka.
So Sri Lanka, of course, playing in their home soil. They have the home advantage, but Maldives fans have given a very good equal representation of their team as well in terms of attendance. Slight drizzle here in Colombo. There is the match ball, you can see. We are all ready here for the kickoff of the inaugural match. It's Sri Lanka versus Maldives of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021. Both the teams now lined up in tunnel. They are about to make way onto the field. There you see the Maldives team. Samo Ali, Hussein Shifa Yunus, Mohammad Umair, Ali Ashfaq, Ibrahim Aisham, Ali Fasir, Akram Abdul
And Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka team's lineup: Sujan Pereira, captain, goalkeeper Chamod Dilshan, Daxan Pruslas, Bandara Ratnaika, LHK Ishan, that's coming to Ishan, Dylan De Silva, Chalana Samira, Wazim Rasik, M Fazal, Marvin Hamilton, and MFM Aman making the 11. They're playing with a 4-3-1-2. I think they have a attacking formation, Sri Lanka. Fans eagerly waiting for the kickoff. It's already drizzling here, but fans aren't bothered the least. You can see the referees making way into the field, followed by the teams. Maldivian team now walking, and Maldivian fans giving a very loud welcome. Sri Lanka team coming on the other side as well.
And just as the skies open up over the Racecourse International Stadium, fortunately not any heavy showers yet.
The referees from Qatar today. You can see M. Ashla Hamari and also Majid. Yeah, that's M. Ashla Hamari, followed by Faisali, then A. Al Raweli.
He's two linesmen. As you see the two nations lined up, and we'll be having the national anthems with Maldives first, followed by the Sri Lankan national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Maldives.
You heard the Maldivian national anthem, which will be followed by the Sri Lankan national anthem.
Sri Lanka.
Anthem's done. Now it's just few minutes to kick off. The Maldivian fans already going into their cheers. And the vuvuzelas.
Just moments away from kickoff now. The two nations just going to their routine pre-match duties, taking the team photo as we see youngsters like Dylan De Silva scored his debut goal for Sri Lanka in the SAF Championship against Nepal, as did Marvin Hamilton. So two players who will be looking to continue.
Exactly, the team photo. Now the Maldives team taking their field. Samo Dilshan on the screen, number 5.
There's the two captains. Of course, for Sri Lanka, it's Sujan Pereira. For Maldives, Akram Ghani. The usual pre-match toss.
Maldivian team posing for the photo with
the red snappers in Maldives, and these two teams have met on 18 previous occasions. Sri Lanka coming out on top on just 2, whereas Maldives have been victorious on 8 occasions, the remaining 8 being draws. So Maldives the favorites coming into this game. You have to say Maldives last meeting and beating Sri Lanka just over a month ago in the SAF Championship in a 1-0 victory, whereas for Sri Lanka's last triumph over the Red Snappers, you have to go all the way back to 2002, where we beat them in a friendly, but Sri Lanka playing on their home turf gives them the slight home advantage, Shana.
Yes, you can see the team talks, just the team huddle.
The senior players making their voices heard in that huddle. Sujan Pereira, Marvin Hamilton. As you see, Captain Sujan, the man who has been the wall of Sri Lanka for the last so many years. He will give the Maldivian players a tough fight in goal, and as he has done on many occasions over the past so many years, he gives Sri Lanka a fighting chance at the other end with some world-class saves, but up against the likes of Ali Ashfaq of Maldives, who in his 86 appearances for Maldives has scored an amazing 56 goals.
That's tremendous record, to be honest. That's some goal scoring. So now both teams taking their positions. We're almost here for the kickoff. Referee looking at his watch. There you go, the countdown. 2, 1, and here we go. It's kickoff time. Maldives kicking off, and we have started the match.
Sri Lanka gave away position but did well to win it back, and now Hamilton. Now Sri Lanka looking to attack early on. Kavindu he does what he does and uses his pace, but the touch just too heavy and out for a goal kick, but fans appreciating the early intent from Sri Lanka.
Exactly, and Kavindu very quick, so he can just get behind the lines of the Maldivian defense. Now it's a kick for Maldives.
Goalkeeper Ali Naji looking to go long and goes long, but headed by Marvin Hamilton and brilliantly done by Wasim, looking to find Wasim. Kavindu tried to find Wasim on the return, but a brilliant bit of quick thinking by the Maldivian defender, saw that attempt cut short, and Sri Lanka winning the ball back. And Sri Lanka in the opening minute doing well to keep possession and win possession back when they lose it.
Definitely a positive start here for Sri Lanka. Kavindu had the goal inside, could have gone for the goal himself had he dribbled, But again, it's just early time in the match. They still have plenty of time to capitalize on the other opportunities. And Sri Lanka onto a positive start. Just having the ball, you know, when you feel with your, with keeping it with yourself and passing it within your team, you get a very good vibe. Here it's Sri Lanka team coming to Ishan.
Defender just got a touch to it, a vital touch that put Kamindu off, and the defender getting himself in between the ball and Kamindu and winning his team a free kick.
That was a very soft foul. The referee from Qatar today.
Smart thinking by the defender there. He knew that if he got in between the ball and Kamindu would make contact, and then the player just, as they do in modern day football, you go down, and it worked in his favor. Defender Hussein Yusuf kicks it long, and Hamilton once again with the header. He has been doing well with that so far.
Hamilton plays the long ball.
As Kamindu,
Ishan fails to capitalize on it.
he had the pace but just couldn't get it under control. Maldives seem to be sitting back in these early stages, trying to see what Sri Lanka are made of. But here we go on the counter. Sujan Pereira came. Danger is still not clear. Sujan came again. And in the end, fortunately for the Golden Army, the danger was cleared away by Chaitra Ratnayaka. And it's out for a throw-in now to Maldives. But as we were just saying that Maldives might be sitting back in the early stages, they came on a blistering counter-attack, and Sujan Pereira, I think, rightfully came off his line because he thought he could get there first, and he did make some contact, but as we see the replay, Sujan came, but the attacking Maldivian player managed to get a touch to it and almost had the opening goal.
Living dangerously there, Sri Lanka, even though their goalkeeper and their captain, of course, just neutralizing the threat here. Now Maldives playing from the back to the middle.
That was Ibrahim Hussein who put Sujan Pereira and Sri Lanka under heavy pressure with that good bit of attacking display. But now throw-in going the Red Snappers' way yet again.
Again playing from the back. I think Maldives are quite comfortable playing from the back. Any team that's good on the ball would play on from the back. And that's what Maldives is doing here, passing within themselves, goes to the long ball, but unfortunately puts a lot on it. It goes out for a throw-in for Sri Lanka.
As we can hear the Maldivian fans making their voices heard, as usually you do get in football games, the away fans usually are the louder of the two, and Maldivian fans living up to that routine as they make their voices heard. Duxon Puslas with the forward chasing him down. He does well to get the ball away from Ibrahim and wins Sri Lanka a throw-in.
You can see there. Takes in the throw, Sri Lanka quickly. Ball still with Sri Lanka.
Fazal and Chamud Dilshan. Fazal going back to Puslas, who tries to clear it. And Chalna Chamira going for the through ball, finds Wasim Razik. Wasim has options with Dylan ahead of him. He finds Dylan De Silva.
Nice ball, that very good idea that by Dylan.
Absolutely. He had the right intent and he gave a good pass past the defender, but Wasim Razik just wasn't expecting it and couldn't get back in time because he had just gone away from the path the ball came in, and it's back to goalkeeper Ali Najir.
Sri Lanka has the ball through the middle now. A nice pass. Marvin. Ball goes to Maldives. A very good opportunity for Maldives here. I think it's going to be a very threatening situation for Sri Lanka. Goes for the goal. Sujan Pereira puts in a dive, and now with a bicycle kick goes over the bar. Sri Lanka live again without conceding a goal here.
And it looks like Sujan Pereira might have got a fingertip to that bicycle kick as well, because the referee points for a corner. And as we were just hyping up Sujan Pereira, he just showed two brilliant saves yet again. But what a attacking display by Maldives. It was Ibrahim Hussein who got there and put a cross in. Sujan Pereira with the first save. And then absolutely brilliant bicycle kick. Just finger-tipped over the crossbar by Sujan Pereira yet again.
Great effort that from Maldivian forward as well. Look at that. Nice connection.
That was Ibrahim Aisam, if I'm not mistaken, with that bicycle kick and forcing an absolutely superb quick reflex save by Sujan Pereira to keep the score line level. And now the corner. Chamod Dilshan got there first. Kavindu, a poor effort straight back to the Maldivians. Header again, and there we go. It was just a matter of time with the way Maldives kept attacking. And it's that man, the skipper himself, Akram Ghani, who opens the scoring, much to the delight of the away Maldivian fans. And in the 8th minute of the inaugural game of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy, skipper Akram Ghani puts the Red Snappers ahead, and it's Maldives 1, Sri Lanka 0.
A very good header that by Akram Ghani. We are just waiting for the replay here. There you go. A nice looping ball. First time the ball comes out. That's the issue. The ball was given back to Maldives. They are very poor on the ball. Sri Lanka, nice header into the corner. I think Sujan Pereira had no chance of stopping it. It went straight into the corner. There you see.
Absolutely, that's as they say, top wins. Sujan Pereira made 2 brilliant saves earlier, but on that occasion had absolutely no chance. And unfortunately on that occasion, it came down to Kavindu Ishan's bad touch on that occasion. But these things happen in football, and it's still very early stages. And the Golden Army have plenty of time to give a response as Chamod Dilshan heading it away.
I think Rahul, especially when you clear a ball from the box, you have to just make sure you clear it as long as you can. Oh, there you go, another ball. Very sloppy here from Sri Lanka. Maldives score their second goal. This is turning out to a riot now. Maldives just free scoring in this match. It's already 2-0.
And Ali Fasir on this occasion, just less than a minute or just a minute after the first goal, makes it Maldives 2, Sri Lanka 0. And that was way too easy for the Red Snappers. Chaitra Ratnayaka, he could do nothing but watch in horror as the ball was dribbled around him. As we take a look at the replay, that was good work initially by Hussein Yusuf, who found their forward Ali Fasir, who got past Chaitra Ratnayaka way too easily, and Sujan Pereira yet again could do absolutely nothing about that. One-on-one situation usually always favors the forwards, and Ali Fasir making no mistakes with a cool and calm finish. And it's Maldives 2, Sri Lanka 0.
And as you told Rahul, very disappointing from the defender as well, because he had to man mark him, but just letting the away player slip past him very easily. Should have stood his ground a bit more firmly. Goes down, and it will be a free kick for Sri Lanka. 10 minutes into the game, it's already 2 goals for Maldives. And even though it's 10 minutes, we had a lot of action here from both sides.
Absolutely, and Sri Lankans are still not letting their heads drop. And they have plenty of time, even it's 2-0 down, they have plenty of time to fight back and give a response. As we see Mohammad Fazal, I beg your pardon, that's Aman Faiza high up the field, winning Sri Lanka a throw-in. The young Aman Faiza getting international team as now Chamod Dilshan finds Kavindu Ishan. Can he get a cross off? Straight to the hands of goalkeeper Ali Naji.
Yeah, puts in a cross, but straight to the keeper. Sri Lanka, one thing they shouldn't do is not get disappointed. They have to have that winning mentality, just get all this confidence and come back in attacking sprees. That's how you can win this match. And Sri Lanka, no point of sitting in the back foot as well, because it's just 11 minutes into the game.
Absolutely. When you're 2 goals down, you have to go for it really. And they have time. but they can't sit back too much despite having that much time. As now Maldives going back to their goalkeeper. Good pass by goalkeeper Ali. Maldives comfortable to take their time. Now they are ahead.
And Maldives looks good on the ball because you can see they're dribbling past easily. Very good ball control. Again playing from the back. As I told you earlier, a team with full of confidence with the ball can play from the back, can afford to play from the back. Now again Maldives, can they get past? No. This time the Sri Lankan defense staying firm, holding their ground here.
Chamod Dilshan was tackled and then he stayed down, but referee waved play on. Fair challenge, and he's still down in some discomfort, and medics coming on the field. Physios, as we see the large number of Maldivian fans passionately making their voices heard. They must be over the moon with the start that their team had 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes itself, and 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa trophy, and just a sign of things to come in this whole tournament, really. As we see head coach Amir Elajek giving some touchline instructions to his players.
Exactly, there you can see that was the foul that was committed, and this ball almost tried for a through ball there, but Sri Lankan defense just standing their ground, and this was the tackle. I think Chamod Dilshan went in with the momentum he gained, and this is the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021, and Maldives versus Sri Lanka, that's the match that's being telecasted. It's 13 minutes into the game, already Maldives scoring 2 goals. Let's see how this match pans out, the rest of the match.
I think the referee made the right call on that occasion. Well experienced referee, and I think he saw that there wasn't much in it, and that this football is, as they say, a contact sport anyway, so these things happen whether it's a foul or not.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, that seemed to be one of those occasions, as Maldives going all the way back to their captain Akram.
One thing Sri Lanka can do here is just make themselves comfortable with the ball and just stop the momentum of the Maldives, because after scoring 2 goals, surely Maldives might be on the upper hand here. They have to just buy time from the opposite team and just get the ball to themselves, get comfortable with the ball and play around, then they think of attack. I think the first priority here is not to let any more goals go by. Maldives, a good through ball. Maldives getting back off Sri Lanka line, but again ball goes away, and it will be a throw in for Sri Lanka, taking the throw fastly.
And now Sri Lanka, Sujan Pereira will look to heave this downfield, but opts to go short to Chamod Dilshan. Chamod Dilshan calling for a teammate, opts to go back to skipper Sujan, and now Sujan goes for that long ball. Chalna Chamira, Wasim Razik couldn't keep hold of the ball, but Fazal doing well to quickly get back, a player with vast experience, as he finds Wasim Razik now. Can Wasim find a teammate? He goes to Chalna Chamira. Chamira cross into the box, but absolutely no one there.
Maldives, but unfortunately,
and a free kick given away on that occasion. I think Chaitra Ratnayaka just went in a little too eagerly, and free immediately blowing for a foul. But that is the attacking intent you need to see if you are a Sri Lankan fan when you are 2-0 down, as we see a replay. I think maybe if Chalna Chamira had not gone for that cross, if he had tried to go short to Wasim, because there was no Sri Lankan player inside the box at that time, but he went for the cross and it didn't pay off in the end. As now Maldives
Marvin
done absolutely well by Dylan De Silva, only 19 years of age, but whole lot of experience. As
great
absolutely great
effort.
shot by Mohammad Fazal. And like I was just saying, his experience is key for the Golden Army, and we almost saw it pay off there.
Definitely caught the Maldivian goalkeeper off guard. That was a wonderful strike by Nazir.
Absolutely, Fazal just caught the goalkeeper off guard, and the goalkeeper was scrambling for it, but fortunately for the Red Snappers, just wide of the target. And now Maldives will look to respond with an attacking chance of their own. But Sri Lanka need to keep up their attacking display. They need to keep the pressure on the Maldivian defenders, force them back if they are going to try and respond to the 2-0 deficit. But it's Maldives now with possession inside the Sri Lankan half.
Sri Lanka playing with a high line here. So definitely they have to be a bit more cautious. Maldives with the ball into the box. And Sujan Pereira collecting it, no problems there. Sri Lanka through the left side now.
And now Chalna Chamira goes back to Charita. Mohammad Fazal opts for the long ball. Absolutely brilliant long ball by Fazal, finds Kavindo. Kavindo using his pace, goes down. Oh, that was a very good shout for a penalty, but referee had a perfect view of it and he said nothing doing. And not much complaints really from the Sri Lankan players either. As now Sri Lanka, Fazal once again. Absolutely brilliant by Mohammad Fazal, got past two defenders, still in the box and cleared away. Only temporarily, however, but these are absolutely brilliant signs if you're a Sri Lankan fan. As now Marvin Hamilton. Sri Lanka need to keep up the pressure if they are to respond.
Nice turn there, a good 180 turn, but flag goes up. It's offside.
Aman Fraser just offside from that pass of Chalna Chamira. But if you are a Sri Lankan fan, these last few minutes surely are giving you hope and excitement, because the attacking intent shown by the Golden Army is very promising as we take a look at that replay. Chalna the ball.
Just slightly offside. Good call by the referee. In fact, the linesman.
Once again, Sri Lanka in
Hamilton.
possession. Hamilton took a heavy touch but kept it under control. A good pass back by Wasim, but Hamilton once again touched too heavy and gave away the ball. But a throw into Sri Lanka. It's good to see the Sri Lankan bench involved as well, shouting out encouragement and ideas to the players, as now Sujan Pereira coming well off his box to take the kick.
But unfortunately couldn't find another Sri Lankan player. The ball goes out for a throw-in for Maldives.
Just a little bit too powerful under the equation by the Sri Lankan custodian. That's now a long throw by Maldives, but a brilliant bit of work by
Useless.
Daxan Kuslas sees that out for a throw-in again to the Red Snappers. 20 minutes into the game now. Sri Lanka have kept Maldives very quiet since their second goal, and they have been doing most of the attacking really, but once again almost coming off. Ali Fasir just couldn't get a touch on that long ball. But it's just like that when you think Sri Lanka is ahead, suddenly on the counter-attack, Maldives look to give a response as once again Aman Faizer. Hamilton's pass taking a deflection off the defenders and Maldives winning it back. And once again, rightly taken. They don't need to rush.
Ball with Maldives. A good pass that amidst 2-3 opposition players. Tries to dribble, but loses his foot.
He recovered quickly though and got rid of the ball before any danger could come of it. And Akram Ghani going back to goalkeeper Ali Naji.
Maldives again through their centre backs. The right backs really coming up now, playing a very forward game. Their right back and both their wing backs. Puslas on the run here with the ball. Good ball carrying there by Puslas. The ball into the right area.
He did put a long ball, but in no man's land really. There was no forward. Should have opted for a short pass, but went for the long ball on that occasion, and once again not paying off. But some good dribbling before that, but in all that for nothing, as now once again skipper Akram Ghani does well to find Ibrahim Hussain. Ibrahim unable to find his teammate, and Daksan Puslas doing well to win Sri Lanka a free kick. You see Amir Rajak, not one of those head coaches who likes to sit down during the 90 minutes, stays on his feet, and you can see him marching up and down that touchline shouting out instructions as Dylan De Silva does well to win a throw-in high up the field.
Now Sri Lanka, very good opportunity here. Can they get the goal? Kamindu Ishan still having the ball here. Can he put in a good cross? He does. Oh, can this go? Very good defensive play there from Maldives. Some last bit desperate defending to keep.
Oh, the chances kept coming for Sri Lanka there. It was initially Dylan De Silva who brilliantly got the ball inside the box, but some vital defending by Maldivian Hisham Hassan saw it blocked not once but twice, and then Wasim Razik who got the ball. As we see there, it was a game of ping pong almost, the ball bouncing back and forth between the teams.
Exactly, Rahul. I think the team, especially Sri Lankan forwards, the composure is a bit lacking there. They could have gone for the goal had they had some composure.
Absolutely, it was Wasim Razik whose initial shot was weak, as we see a reckless challenge, and rightly the referee going into his pockets for the first time in this game, and the first yellow card for number 2, that's Samu Ali, and a very late reckless challenge on Dylan De Silva.
Yes, there you see Samu Ali just sliding into. In fact, he got the ball, but the momentum of the tackle is what is the huge concern, I guess.
Indeed, but he went in with a high boot as well, so I think in the end the right decision, and Dylan De Silva fortunately seems okay. But as we were talking about the earlier chance, it was Wasim Razik who got the initial effort off, which was blocked by Hisham Hassan before Fazal from the edge of the box once again saw his effort blocked before Maldives were finally able to clear it away. But now a free kick from wide of the field. If Sri Lanka can get a good ball in, they have the likes of Chamod Dilshan and Daksan Puslas with the height who can make a challenge for it.
Kick taken. Sri Lanka goes for the goal.
Dylan De
Can they score?
Dylan De Silva couldn't get a proper connection to the shot. It was just too weak. He was in the perfect position to take a swing at it, and that's what he did, but just couldn't get the proper connection. And the weak shot easily deflected away, and now Sri Lanka looking to mount yet another attack. Fazal does well to find Salna Samira, who puts in a cross, but Kamindu Ishan, can he do something? Kamindu Ishan did well to control it, but his pass right into the defender's path, and now Maldives on the counter attack. It's a 2-on-2 situation, but Daksan Puslas, even on a 2-on-1 situation, he's the man you want, and just
putting
there.
his body across there.
Absolutely did his defending duties absolutely brilliantly to stop that counter attack and at the expense of a throw-in.
I think the Sri Lanka has got the ball more times into the box of Maldivians than the Maldivians have got into Sri Lanka. So I think they have got the game. You can see that they have been going into the box, but the only point is they couldn't get the shot away.
Absolutely rightly said, Jana, because even though Sri Lanka has been breaking into the box a number of times and getting shots away as well, the difference stands after 27 minutes that Maldives are 2 goals up while Sri Lanka are nil, as we see the Maldivian head coach
Morero Francisco
giving instructions to his players.
Kavindu Ishan going for the long ball now. Can he find Dylan? And now Dylan with the ball. In fact, he went through but couldn't get the ball. Now Dylan goes in despite of getting the ball.
Cleared away by Samu Ali. He knew the pace of Dylan De Silva was not a thing to take a risk with, and rightfully cleared as Dylan De Silva. Oh, that was another chance for Sri Lanka gone begging. Dylan De Silva, the initial low cross into the box, hit away by the defender, and then the follow-up straight at the goalkeeper. But it's been almost all Dylan De Silva for Sri Lankan attacking thus far. But yet, as we were talking about earlier, despite Sri Lanka getting into the box so many times, what stands as a difference is yet again Dylan De Silva. This could be the chance, but once again his cross well blocked by the Maldivian defense.
Suddenly Sri Lanka looking very, very dangerous here. If they get one goal, I think Sri Lanka is right into the game, right back into the game here.
Absolutely.
Dylan, especially I think Dylan is playing very well compared to the other forwards.
And don't forget, he's just a 19-year-old player, but he plays for QPR. That's Queen's Park Rangers, second-tier club in UK. As once again Sri Lanka coming to Ishan. He finds Dylan De Silva yet again. Dylan De Silva going for the cross. Danger still not cleared. But the Sri Lankans need to react much quicker as Chamod Dilshan couldn't do much as now Maldives. I think the Sri Lankan attackers need to react more when the ball goes into that area as now Maldives blocked on the initial attempt by Daxan Puslas.
Puslas has been very good for Sri Lanka through the left flank. I think he's been dealing well with the forwards of Maldives. Now Maldives just looking for an alternate route to break the Sri Lankan defense. Goes for the long ball. I think he finds the man. That's very disappointing. In fact, Sujan Pereira coming in, and also I guess the flag went up. Yes.
When that pass did come, I had my thoughts that that may have been offside, but Sujan Pereira did not know that, and he anyway made the save. And in the end, the linesman had his flag raised, fortunately for the Sri Lankans, because the player got past the defense far too easily, whether it was offside or not. And yet again, it's Sri Lanka who get hold of possession. I think the difference is, even though as we have seen in the last 10 or 15 minutes, Sri Lanka have been doing most of the attacking, getting into the box much more than the opposition, Maldives. But what the difference is that Maldives are 2-0 up because they've capitalized on the chances they have, whereas Sri Lanka have wasted numerous opportunities so far. Because this scoreline could be very different if Sri Lanka had capitalized on the opportunities they had.
I think Kavindu Ishan needs to just get his first touch a bit more, so he could use the left flank wisely, and also
some maybe less wasteful crosses and passes into the box, because at the moment it seems like Sri Lanka are just crossing it into the box for the sake of crossing it into the box without looking if there are any options there. As once again it's Maldives.
Now Maldives with the ball. Just trying to look for options, but it will be a throw in for Sri Lanka. Almost half an hour into the game. We have just passed the half an hour mark, and it's 2-0 for Maldives here in Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021.
The two teammates just not on the same wavelength on that occasion. And now Chamod Dilshan with the ball for a throw-in. He finds Dylan De Silva. Dylan, touch just too heavy, and position given right back to Maldives, but now ducks and puzzlers. Sri Lanka playing a very high line. Ratnayaka tried to find a pass, but was straight at the defender, and then the follow-up clean-up effort causing a foul for Maldives, and it will be a free kick for the Red Snappers just on the halfway line. We are into the last 15 minutes plus added time of the first half. As we were talking, John, if Sri Lanka can get at least one goal before the halftime break, that would give them some momentum for the rest of the game, as Maldives once again absolutely brilliant with their passes. Samod Dilshan shoving off his defender and the player going down, but I think far too easily on that occasion, Ibrahim Hussain. And no complaints either. I think he knew what he was doing.
And also a very good tackle there by the Sri Lankan defense. Another 15 minutes remaining of the first half.
Absolutely, and yet again a good call from the referee. He saw what was happening and did not fall for it, as now Aman Pfizer going back to Hamilton. Hamilton going deep to help out, as now Fazal looking to find Aman. Touch just too heavy, and Kavindu couldn't get there. And now it's Maldives yet again. Hussain is trying to find Ibrahim. Ibrahim does well to get past Duxon. He gets past Chamod, and that's the third goal.
What a finish that is, Rao.
Absolutely brilliant individual effort by Ibrahim Hussain. And a celebration worthy of the goal, as Ibrahim Hussain initially got past ducks and puzzlers. We were praising him all this time, but he faltered on that occasion and then got past Chamod Dilshan far too easily, and then a brilliant finish gave Sujan Pereira absolutely no chance, and he could do nothing but watch. As we take a look at the replay, a brilliant bit of skill to get past Duxon, and then Chamod Dilshan should have done much better there.
Yes, first he easily shrugs off Duxon, and then Chamod, I think he could have gone in with a tackle or something, but easily nutmeg there. Again, Duxon coming across, but still managing to put the ball into the net. That was a superb effort.
I think Chamod should have done better for Sri Lanka on that occasion, but you can't, despite whatever happened in defense, you can't take away the brilliant individual effort that was by Ibrahim Hussain. And it's now Maldives 3, Sri Lanka 0 in the 35th minute of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021 opening game. And now it's a much deeper task for Sri Lanka, but still not impossible, still plenty of time, and just one goal could change things. It could give them the momentum they need, as Aman Pfizer now a brilliant pass to find Kavindu Ishan, and brilliant bit of work by Kavindu to get past Hussain, but in the end that bit of brilliant display was for nothing, as his follow-up straight to the goalkeeper Ali Naji.
Exactly, that's what we were talking about. I think Kavindu Ishan, even though he gets the ball, his crossing and also the ball feeding can be better. And let's see what happens as the match progresses. Nice ball there. Maldives again going for the long ball. This time another good opportunity, goes for the goal.
And Ibrahim Hussain, who scored that earlier goal, on this occasion just couldn't. He was trying to find his teammate unselfishly, but fortunately for the Sri Lankans, his pass just failing on him, and scoreline remains 3-0.
Yes, rightly said. He tried to loft the ball, but the idea not actually coming up correctly there.
But yet again, I think Sri Lankan defense need to question themselves. Ibrahim is getting past the defensive line far too easily and causing problems, as once again it's the Red Snappers in attack, and once again looking to attack. This time going back to their defenders.
I think the Maldivians have been using their long balls really well. Those diagonal balls from left to right and right to left has been very impressive. And the player goes down, and it will be a
Free kick.
for
Indeed, good.
Maldives.
Samod Dilshan just a bit too physical there. So take a look at that replay. Right call, just shoved the player in the back, and Ali Ashfaq going down immediately, felt the contact, and referee rightfully blowing for a free kick. If Maldives can get a good ball here, there is no reason they can't threaten for yet a fourth goal. As we see the two men standing over this, Ali Ashfaq and Mohammad Umair, and it's Ashfaq who goes for it, but Daxan Puslas gets there first, and now could we see a counter attack for Sri Lanka?
Nice ball that
Wasim.
can Sri Lanka capitalize on this. Wasim Razik through the right side, feeding the ball in the middle.
And the return by Chalna Chamira just not on the same wavelength, but Sri Lanka winning a throw in high up the field. They need to start taking the chances that are coming to them. They can't keep that running out of time. As we see once again, it's now Chaitra Ratnayaka. It's going all the way back to Daxan Puslas. Daxan lining up his options. And he finds Chalna Chamira high up the field. Mohammad Fazal. Sri Lanka taking their time. Chaitra Ratnayaka. Chaitra Ratnayaka opting to stay up front. As the cross yet again straight at the defender, but cleared for a throw-in. And now Fazal, brilliant skill as always, and winning Sri Lanka a corner kick. Good bit of dribbling display there by Mohammad Fazal, as we've seen from him over the last so many years. But skipper Akram Ghani well up for the challenge and cleared it away. And Sri Lanka not going direct with the corner kick, and it could be a wasted opportunity, but now possession back with the Sri Lankans, as now Aman Faizer finds Dylan De Silva. Brilliant bit of footwork. Can he get a cross in?
Does get a cross in, but ball falls to Hamilton. Can Hamilton get the shot here? But his first touch again disappointing here. Now again another cross here, goes for the goal. Almost goes in. I think that was an effort from Chamod Dilshan.
Really should have done better. He was in a brilliant area and he had no defenders around him. He really should have headed that at least on target.
And also there wasn't much pace in the ball to work with, even though Sri Lanka's third half game has to be improved a bit. There you see, not enough pace, but at least he should have hit the target.
Absolutely, at least make the goalkeeper work for it. As before that we saw Hamilton at the edge of the box. It was from a distance like that where he scored against Nepal, but on that occasion just couldn't get the right touch. Yes, now the ball back to Sujan Pereira.
Now ball with Sujan, looking for options here. Will he go for the long ball? In fact, he chooses it to give back to one of his defenders. Chamod Dilshan through the middle, an option.
Sujan needs to find some good options here. Sujan also weighing up and opting to go short to Chamod Dilshan.
It's another foul here. Free kick going for Maldives' way.
So, sloppy foul there, as we are going to see our first substitution of the game, and it's in the first half, and it is for Sri Lanka. It looks like it will be number 8 who is getting ready to come on. That will have to wait. As now Maldives once again looking to build up an attack of their own.
Ball given to Sri Lanka here. Sri Lanka with the ball. Now through the middle. Puslas with the ball. Chamod Dilshan. Puslas again. Going for the long ball here. Can Dylan get the ball? He does. Gives a very good ball. Goes for the strike. Oh, that's such a disappointing strike there by Dylan. Wasim Razik almost getting the ball right into the path of Dylan.
As we do see our first substitution, we will get back to that missed opportunity, but
Asikur Rahman coming in for Mohammad Aman.
Aman Faiza. I think that's more of a positional change because Aman Faiza was doing well, but I think they wanted the attacking intent of Asikur Rahman. And let's see if it is the right decision, if Asikur can make a positive impact on the Sri Lankan team. Just minutes away from the end of the first half.
Ball again with Sri Lanka here. Goes for the long ball again. Maldivian keeper just getting the ball.
That earlier missed opportunity, it was Wasim Razik who did well inside the box. And he found Dylan De Silva, but Dylan De Silva just couldn't get a strike off yet again. He had time to collect himself and take a proper shot, but I think in the excitement he went for it. As once again it's Dylan De Silva. Can he make up for that early effort?
Oh, the power not quite there, even though the idea was right.
He dribbled himself into a tight position and made it a little bit too difficult for himself. And in the end, he made the goalkeeper dive for it, but not the type of effort you really want, as Kavin Vishan goes for a long ball and once again finds Dylan De Silva. Dylan De Silva has been in the heart of the attack for Sri Lanka in the opening half, but Sri Lanka need that goal as a brilliant tackle wins the ball off Kavin Vishan. But a sloppy bit of work.
I think he was brought down, isn't it? But referee says otherwise. Wasim Razik with the ball.
Wasim Razik
Can
did
Sri
well.
Lanka get some last minute attack into the Maldivian box? No.
Wasim Razik did well to get to that ball first, and there was a coming together, but referee didn't see anything foul worthy. But it's Sri Lanka still in possession. Fighter Ratnayaka once again high up the field. Fazal tried to find Kavin Vishan as the long range effort by Chalna Chamira well over the crossbar.
Sri Lanka looking very good. I think Sri Lanka's ball progression into the box is quite good, but just the finishing is missing there. If they can just finish, at least couple of those shots had gone in, Sri Lanka would have been very firmly into this game. I think the finishing has to improve for Sri Lanka.
Absolutely, because if the finishing had been proper, the scoreline would be very different right about now. But once again, chance gone begging, and Marvin Hamilton just a little too physical on the Maldivian forward there.
And it will be 1 minute of added time in this match.
I think if Sri Lanka can get a goal, it will make the team talk very different, as referee playing advantage. The cross just out of reach for the oncoming Ibrahim Hussain, fortunately for Sujan Pereira and the Sri Lankan defenders.
And we're almost at the half time mark. And you can see the Maldivian player visibly in distress.
So when the half-time break comes, Amir Alajic will have a lot of things that he needs to get done in the half-time team talk. He will need to make sure the team improves in the second half, and that comes down usually to how a manager can boost the morale of his players in the halftime team talk, as that looked very ugly. But as we mentioned earlier, these things happen in football, but Chalta Ratnayaka rightfully checking up on the player.
You can see, oh, that's it. That's the end of the half, I guess. In fact, no. The kick wasn't taken properly there. Now in Hamilton. Now it's half time here. Maldives 3, Sri Lanka 0 in Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021. Ghani, Fasi and Hussein are the goal scorers.
So that's the half-time break. Maldives 3, Sri Lanka 0, and the highlights of the first half are coming your way, and the live action of the second half will be back in 15 minutes.
This is the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021, featuring 4 national teams. Of course, the game is being held in Sri Lanka, so it's Sri Lanka, Maldives, Seychelles and Bangladesh. And in the halftime team talk, we are going to discuss about the goals and also how the teams managed to score. So Rahul.
Hello, John. Of course, halftime, Maldives leading 3-0. And it's not the scoreline Sri Lankan fans wanted after football came back to Sri Lanka after almost 2 years. But still one more half to go, and plenty. It depends on what Amir Aljic can do in the halftime team talk. He needs to boost the morale of the players, needs to get the spirit up, and he needs to make sure they don't make the same mistakes that they were making in the first half. But 3-0 at halftime.
Exactly, and also it was very refreshing to see football back in Sri Lankan soil, especially international football, because after this COVID pandemic, it's been almost couple of years here with no football action, and now with the team coming back, it's actually very surprising and also very nice to see. And also the Maldivians away fans coming in huge numbers and supporting their team. Maldivians fan, of course, a very passionate crowd. They're coming in numbers and supporting. It was very nice to see, isn't it, Rahul?
Absolutely. They were making their voices heard, of course, because even though they are away fans, it's almost filled with them, the upper stand, and you could hear them from even the commentary box. You could hear the way they were making their voices heard, and I think that does play a part in the morale of the team. And as you saw in the opening 10 minutes, Maldives are 2-0 up.
Yes, and of course, when we talk about the goals, I think Sri Lanka's defense, especially, maybe they could have done a bit better and could have prevented the 3 goals. I think the Maldivians using the diagonal balls really well there, you know, from left to right and right to left, just putting the balls into the very good area. And also, Sri Lankans forward, what do you want to, you know, as a spectator, what you might say to the Sri Lankan forwards, or what advice you think it might be better for them in the half-time?
Absolutely, because as we all saw, it was Sri Lanka who had more of the attacking displays and attacking chances from the first half, even though Maldives are somehow 3-0 in front. If you watch the highlights, it doesn't really seem that way, but the main difference which happened in the first half was that Maldives, when they got the chance, they didn't fail to capitalize on it, whereas Sri Lankans, there was over 10 chances where Sri Lanka could have capitalized and had good chances to score a goal, but they wasted the opportunities and the goal line remains nil for Sri Lanka. So what needs to mainly happen is that Sri Lanka need to stop wasting chances, because as we mentioned in commentary as well, there were so many times where players like Kavindu, Dylan, they just crossed the ball into the box without having a teammate there, but they need to try and find players whether they're inside the box, outside the box.
Correctly.
Keep hold of possession.
Yes, as Rahul said, I think the ball progression into the box was really good. I think as spectators we saw it was really good, but the finishing has to be a bit more consistent and also a bit more brilliant. If Sri Lanka, you know, I think they had more shots on the target. In fact, they had the more shots to be clear. But then again, the finishing, if it had been good, Sri Lanka could have scored a couple goals here, and the game would have been a bit more in the balance. And also, I think Sujan Pereira has a very good game, isn't it? He made 2 or 3 vital stops today.
Absolutely. I think the scoreline of 3-0 is very unjustified for Sujan Pereira, because despite it being 3-0, before the first goal, he made 2 brilliant world-class saves, including a quick reflex save of tipping the ball over the crossbar. But unfortunately, when the first goal came, it was a header and it was from close range, and he could do absolutely nothing about it. But even after that, he did make a few saves, and the 2 goals that followed were really, the goalkeeper could do absolutely nothing by it.
Yes. Okay, now let's talk about the tournament. You know, this tournament, especially as we have already told you, you know, when teams play with a very high seeded team, it's quite hard. You know, Sri Lanka coming at the back of 2 very important tournaments, but very hard tournaments, and it didn't go as well as Sri Lanka expected. But tournaments like this, when almost the teams, maybe the Maldives team a bit more stronger, but the other 3 teams, Seychelles, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, almost same tiered teams. How important is for a team to play in this kind of games and this kind of tournament?
Absolutely, this kind of opportunity, the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa trophy, it's a great opportunity not just for Sri Lanka but all 4 countries, Maldives, Bangladesh, Seychelles, because as you rightly said, all 4 countries except for Maldives, who are a little bit high in FIFA ranking, all the other 3 countries are very close. So in the competitive style, in terms of football skill, it's very close. So the chance to develop their skills for the individual countries, this is a good opportunity because the competition levels are pretty equal. So for fans especially, they can see good competitive football, and players for Bangladesh, Seychelles, Sri Lanka, it's a good chance to develop their skills as well.
Yes, a very good point there by Rahul. And again, you know, when teams play with similar seeded or similar tiered teams, there is more opportunity for each team to maybe win the competition. And when that happens, that's when the fans turn up. You know, when your team is doing good, the fans flock around, and also the grassroots levels, the players come up, the future players, the younger players who's just idolizing on the current stars, they'll think, okay, we have a chance to go and perform as well. So it has been a very good tournament. It has been a very good start. It's, even though the weather hasn't really helped for the tournament, but still, it was very good. So let's see how the second half pans out. So
Plus,
what do you think?
let's not forget that Seychelles is a country from African continent. So the tournament is bringing countries from another continent as well, which widens the exposure for Football Sri Lanka and the name of Football Sri Lanka as well.
Correct. So for the second half, what do you think Sri Lanka might change? What changes might be good for them?
So there was that late change of Aman Pfizer coming off.
Yeah, you were right. So Aman, yeah, as Aman, came in during the last part of the first half. So now we are going to go back to the live action of the second half in a few minutes. So we'll catch up with the live action. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We had the first half done. Now we are just few minutes away, and in fact, we have started the second half here. It's 3 for Maldives, 0 for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka going for the goal. In fact, the shot a bit wide.
So
Rahul.
now we get to see what magic Amir Ranjik may have been able to conjure in the halftime team talk, because 3-0 down. There were plenty of attacking chances for Sri Lanka which were not taken, but they can't keep making those mistakes in this second half because time is running out now, and there are 2 more games to go for Sri Lanka, but you need to have a few goals in the bag to at least boost your confidence going to the next game with a loss.
Yes, and one thing Sri Lanka can do is, nothing to lose here. So they just go play their full attacking game. They're already 3 goals down. So they can take this in a positive manner that they don't have to defend, because, you get what I'm saying, right? Either they defend or they just consider another goal, or they go for attack and take the chance, take the risk and score a couple of goals. So that's going to be more good for Sri Lanka.
But they will need to be defensively aware as well, because
sometimes it turns into humiliation.
As it did back in 2013 September, when Maldives in the SAF Championship trashed us 10-0, believe it or not. But that was almost 7 years ago, fortunately, and the defense has, I think, with new players and better defenders, fortunately, we are not at a threat for that, I believe. But Sri Lanka need to, as you said, go in an attacking mindset, but make sure they don't go asleep defensively as well, because there were many defensive mistakes in the lead up to the first 3 goals. As now once again it's Maldives, Ibrahim Hussain, the man who scored that brilliant individual 3rd goal, as a long range effort, and Sujan Pereira was diving and worried for a few moments, but that long range effort just right off the target.
Right, Rahul. I think he put plenty of venom in it. The ball just whisked past the goalkeeper, that's Sujan Pereira, but
Absolutely.
the only thing not finding the target there.
That's their record goal scorer Ali Ashfaq, and with that strike you can see why he has scored 56 goals for Maldives. He almost made it number 57.
What a so that was, I think Sujan got a bit of fingers onto it, I guess.
Absolutely, that was a save indeed, as we have a corner. We couldn't see it from the commentary box, but
in the replay
as we were talking
yeah,
about the prowess of Ali Ashfaq, we just saw an example of the prowess of Sujan Pereira. Another world-class save, because that ball was coming like a rocket.
That was brilliant. Now again the ball looping into the box. Sri Lanka, can they go on the counter now? Wasim Rasik with the ball. See the first touch again, just taking the ball away from him.
Razik just couldn't get it under control. He had Dylan De Silva making a run up front, but not to be on that occasion. Dylan De Silva, I think, was the best attacking player for Sri Lanka in the first half, and for the 19-year-old with a very, very bright future, he has been the heart of the attack so far for Sri Lanka. He had a few chances that he couldn't put away, but he has always been in those areas, as yet again cross into the box. But once again, it's one of those examples we mentioned. He needs to find a teammate, but once again getting into those areas, but they are running out of time and running out of chances where they can keep missing.
I think the crosses are just put in for the sake, as Rahul told. There is not a clear plan. There is no clear plan. Again going for the shot, but this time that sends it looping over the bar and not threatening the goalkeeper. Look, he's disappointed as well.
And you can see the fury on Sujan Pereira, yelling at his defenders, upset that they gave him all that time and space. They really should have covered him down and prevented him from taking the shot. He had all the time in the world, Ali Ashfaq, and you don't want a player of his skill and quality to have that freedom.
Especially in front of the goal.
Absolutely, and
we just saw how quick and how good the strike was, his last strike. So definitely you don't give so much of space for him.
Exactly, Sujan Pereira rightly upset with his defenders on that occasion, as now throw-in going the red snappers' way. See the head coach of Maldives 3-0 up, but still on his feet, making sure the players doing their duty. That's what you like to see from head coaches. Now Maldives long ball.
I think that's a very good ball. See,
Ibrahim Hussain gets past Kavin Vishan. Danger still not cleared. And let off for Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, you know, couple chances, even though that went against them. Maldives failing to capitalize on it. I think that was almost open goal. Could have just struck it straight into the goal net.
Absolutely, fortunately for Sri Lanka, the pass didn't come to Ali Ashfaq, and Ali Fasir had to move back to get to the ball, and in his rush to take the shot, even though once again he had all the time in the world. Fortunately for Sri Lanka, skied it well over the crossbar, and you can see Amil Aljic not looking happy about it. Rightly so. That's the ball out yet again for a throw-in.
Ball with Maldives. Now back to Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka need to keep up that attacking momentum they had in the first half, because it's Maldives who has come into the second half with the attacks.
And now it will be a free kick. I think it's a very interesting position. Sri Lanka, if they plan it out well, they can actually score a goal from here. Wasim Rasik was the one who was taken down. But Hamilton on the ball. There you see Hamilton on the ball.
Indeed, this is a very good position. It's the kind of range you could go straight for goal. And Mohammad Fazal is a known free kick taker, and we know the power in the foot of Marvin Hamilton. Could this be the moment he goes straight for goal, but straight at the wall, follow-up effort, just wildly off target.
I think the ball doing the job there. It's already...
I think Hamilton was trying to get it up and over and down back over the wall, but it was straight into the wall. And then the follow-up effort too wild as Chaitra Ratnayaka.
Ball still with Sri Lanka.
Wasim Razik did absolutely brilliant to recover from that poor pass. That's now Dylan De Silva. Once again in the heart of the attack for Sri Lanka, Chaitra Ratnayaka. He has shifted to a full-back position. As Fazal unable to beat the defender. Maldives holding strong and now going for a counter-attack. The player goes down, referee blows the whistle.
I think it's going to be very...
But he wasn't the last man, fortunately for the Sri Lankans. And it was just coming together, nothing intentional or reckless there by Daxan Puslas. And
just saved because of the other defender who went ahead of him. Had he been the last defender, then, you know, it might have...
questions could have been asked, but
yes,
as you do see, there was no real attacking. There was no real foul intent there, but whether there was intent or not, it's a free kick opportunity to Maldives now, and they are in a good position to, if they can get a good ball into the box. Ali Fasir. Maldives, the red snappers in their all red home kit. Sri Lanka in their royal blue. Ali Fasir taking his time. And in the end, it wasn't Ali Fasir, it was Mohammad Umair. A ploy of sorts from Maldives, but not working out in the end, as Dylan De Silva once again with the ball, and he wins his team a throw-in. Good work by the 19-year-old.
Yes, I think these are, you know, these tournaments and especially these matches, even though the match goes against Sri Lanka's way, but very good experience for players like Dylan and the others who are young and who are the future stars here. Maldives get another opportunity. Can they score here? Oh, that's some good defense by Daxan Puslas. I think Daxan has been good today, even though, you know, I guess the second goal or the third goal where he had been dribbled past, But this overall performance has been good by
He has
Daxon.
been the best defender for Sri Lanka in this game so far, because there has been a lot of mistakes from Sri Lankan defense, but he has done a solid job, and he makes the block at the expense of a corner for Maldives, and it's Ali Fasir with the chance to get the ball into the box to try and make it 4-0. But long ball, Sujan got to it, as did a Maldivian player, but in the end Samu Ali just couldn't do enough, and it's out for a goal kick. As we see the replay there, Sujan Pereira put a lot of pressure on Samu.
Final touch coming from Maldivian player, so it will be a goal kick. Sujan looking for options to launch the ball. And you can see a very animated Maldivian head coach.
Docs and Coastlers finding Asikur Rahman.
I think Rahman has been a bit quiet since coming on. He came on during the last bit of the first half.
He's playing a bit deeply as Kavin Vishan.
Oh, nice turn that by Dylan. Can he go for the goal? I think he was brought down, is he? No. Ball with Maldives now.
Challenge deems the referee, but once again good work by Dylan De Silva, just couldn't get anything out of it, as now Maldives once again on the counter attack. Maldives attacking in numbers. Danger still not cleared. Sri Lanka taking their time, and then Chaitra Ratnayaka finally finding Fazal. Fazal trying to launch an attack, and it's once again straight to that man Dylan De Silva. Brilliant take by Dylan, and once again the cross. He was trying to find Wasim, but
We've been discussing about this for a long time now, Rahul. The ball progression into the box, it has been good. Hasn't been really bad, has been good. But again, the finishing, and also, you know, when it comes to crosses, Sri Lanka has been very poor on it. Maybe they have to work a bit before the next match.
absolutely, because Dylan has been absolutely world class in the build up into the box, as once again Maldives, and there you go. When you waste chances, this is what happens, and it's that man himself,
Yeah, he just keeps on tallying the goal tally.
Ali Ashfaq, with goal number 57 for Maldives. The history maker for the Red Snappers has another goal to his name, and Maldives have another goal in this game. It's Maldives 4, Sri Lanka 0 in the 58th minute. As we take a look at that replay, far too easy to get past both Marvin Hamilton and Asikur Rahman. The assist going to Ibrahim Hussain.
Look at, there was a nothing challenge there
Sri
actually.
Lanka really should have done better defensively, and Sujan Pereira really could do nothing. But once again, watch as the ball was rolled past him by the coveted Ali Ashfaq, and you never can say game over in the game of football until the final whistle is blown. But Sri Lanka needed, if there was a goal to come in the second half, Sri Lanka needed it to be them to try and build up a challenge, but it's Maldives who have kind of snuffled out any chances that Sri Lankans may have been hoping for, and you can hear the Maldivian fans going wild in the stands.
Rightly said. And there you see the man just keeps on adding up his goal tally. A very good international record for him. And now 4 goals down, Sri Lanka. Can they get a consolation goal or two here before the end of the match? Another 30 odd minutes remaining in this match.
Because I think now what Sri Lanka have to look at is it's a tournament. There are 2 more games to play, so goal difference could come into play towards the end. So at least a goal or 2 would do a lot of good for the long run of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa trophy. Plus they would want to give the fans who came to see them play after so long a goal to celebrate.
And one positive thing for Sri Lanka is this is the hardest match. So they still have another couple of matches waiting. So if they can rectify the issues, if they can learn from this match, especially as we have pointed out, the crossing and finishing, if they can improve it a bit, I think they can win the next 2 games and still have a chance of reaching the finals.
Absolutely, but it's hardest on paper. Because it's important to remember in the game of football, what you see on paper is not always what you get on the field, and we can never rule teams like Bangladesh and Seychelles out. Seychelles, especially an African team, we don't really know much about, but I'm sure Allergic and Co would have done a lot of research to prepare. But there is still 30 minutes plus added time remaining as we reach the hour mark of this game. Sri Lanka, even if they can get one goal, could do a lot of good.
You can see the ball not bouncing at all.
Wild challenge there by Chaitra Ratnayaka, but referee doesn't blow the whistle.
Oh, nice ball this Dylan.
Dylan De Silva
Couldn't get at the end of the ball there.
just not enough pace, but it goes out for a corner kick to Sri Lanka. I think Dylan has been playing his heart out really, because he has been world class in the build-up. It's just the final attempt where he tries to cross it in, which he needs to improve a little bit. But other than that, he has been absolutely brilliant for Sri Lanka. And I hope that the coaches in QPR are watching, because what a talent this young lad is. As we see Chalna Chamira lining up to take the corner. They need to try and find someone like Chamod Dilchan. He comes in, but once again, a wild header. They are appealing for another corner, but referee waving those appeals away. And once again, a headed attempt by Chamod Dilchan, wildly off target.
I think he did get some header goals in the Sri Lankan Super League.
His height is a very good factor, so Sri Lanka do usually rely on his height advantage when it comes to such set, but unfortunately he has had 2 headed opportunities so far, both were off target. As we see some attempts to take care of cramps, I think Samu, Ali, because even though it's not as hot as it usually would be in Sri Lanka, it's very humid out there on the field, so especially when you're playing after a month or so.
Rightly said. So is there going to be a change, or is he going to come back onto the field after some medical attention?
Fortunately, I think it's just a case of cramp, so I don't think anything serious is wrong as the play continues for the time being. You can see the player just getting a few stretches in on the sideline as the ball out for a throw-in. As we were talking about Dylan De Silva, it's been mainly Dylan De Silva who has been attacking. He needs some teammates to help him, as once again Wasim Razik has been the other attacking man, but hasn't had much chances as Dylan has, as Chamod Dilshan doing well to win his team a throw-in.
Again, ball goes out, I guess. It will be a
back.
throw-in against for Sri Lanka.
Taken quickly by Duxon. Chamod Dilshan. Sri Lanka need to keep hold of possession without giving it away cheaply. Hamilton. Wasim back to Hamilton. Dylan De Silva. Wasim Razik, this could be the goal, and it is!
That's the goal Sri Lanka waited!
And that is the first goal, and the chance came for Wasim, and this time it wasn't wasted. And a good bit of interplay between Dylan De Silva and Wasim Razik. And Wasim Razik, the man who scored 2 goals against Lebanon in the World Cup qualifiers, scores a goal against Maldives to make it Maldives 4, Sri Lanka 1 in the 64th minute. What a goal.
And again, very good touch by Dylan. You saw how he just diverted the ball onto the path of Wasim Razik. Very well done there. And for a man of Wasim Razik's caliber, I think that's almost an easy finish for him. But still, he had to, and he did it.
Indeed, you do expect those goals from a player of his stature. And as you rightly said, assist for Dylan De Silva. He has been the heart of the Sri Lankan attack, as I keep saying. And once again, it was thanks to him that that chance got created, and Sri Lanka have a goal back.
A comeback, Rahul? Do you think there's a chance of comeback?
We've seen crazier things in the game of football, but I think what Sri Lanka need to do now is try to make a positive impact in the goal difference for the long term of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa tournament.
And there you go, Maldives immediately on the counter.
Indeed, that
I think the goal might give Sri Lanka a bit more confidence when it comes to attacking. So they should use all those momentum to try and get another goal. You know, another goal, and you might not know, because about the rest of the time they can actually get a couple more. But all that said, it's easier said than done.
Indeed, on the other side of the coin, you need to look at that Maldives may have viewed that goal as a wake-up call, that maybe they were relaxing a little too much and giving Sri Lanka just a little bit too much of possession, and that let's see how both teams react to that goal. Sri Lankan fans will be hoping that that goal, as you said, would give Sri Lankan some more attacking intent.
And you can see suddenly the fans have woken up, and you can hear the vuvuzelas and the papre bands going on, and the momentum of the game has also shifted. You can see both teams now, there's some sort of good momentum going in, and there I see very nice sliding tackle to put the ball away.
Vital challenge there by Asikur Rahman, because the Maldivian forward was true on goal, and if not for that sliding challenge by Asikur, that could have been goal number 5, and all the talk of a comeback or positive goal difference would have been all for naught. But throw in still with Sri Lanka. Sujan Pereira
has had a good game. Sujan Pereira
absolutely has made some brilliant world-class saves, and you can't really blame him for the 4 goals that have gone in, because he was helpless in most of those occasions. As now Marvin Hamilton, can Sri Lanka build on the momentum of their first goal?
Hamilton again, but very good challenge that by the Maldivian. Sri Lanka retaining the ball very well. Can Sri Lanka use this opportunity to get another goal?
Chalna Chamira.
You can see the ground is also quite damp. Oh, nicely done by Dylan. Dylan means actually the real man here.
This could be
Dylan
goal
has
number
given
2,
another goal, and that's another goal for Sri Lanka.
It's Wasim Razik, and it's Dylan De Silva with the assist.
Actually, you know what, Rahul? You know, Wasim Razik, yes, that's a good finish, but what Dylan did there was outstanding. He just made a very good turn, and also to have the composure to put the ball onto the path of Wasim Razik. That was great goal by Sri Lanka.
Wasim Razik with his 4th goal for Sri Lanka overall. You don't expect anything less from a player of his skill.
What a ball that is,
Rahul. Absolutely, what a brilliant assist. I keep saying that he's the heart of the attack, but for a 19-year-old kid, what a display he has shown today.
We just spoke about the comeback, and suddenly, you know, Sri Lanka has 2 goals up, another 2 goals to get.
I won't get dragged into that conversation yet, but maybe another goal, and we'll talk about that, Jana. But still time for a comeback, as you say, but I don't want to get Sri Lankan fans' hopes up too much, as we see the Sri Lankan bench on their feet, as Maldives readying a substitution, as Sri Lanka now indeed riding the momentum of the 2 goals. They've cut the deficit by half, and there is just over 20 minutes remaining in this game. Could we see something miraculous at the Racecourse Stadium?
And you know what happens, Rahul, when you know one player like someone like Dylan plays very well, it's infectious. It gets to other players as well, and the other players get some momentum and they start playing well. So it's a very good sign here for Sri Lanka. So let's see how they're going to use the rest of the match, and can they just get back into the game. Let's see. So now ball with Sujan Pereira.
Absolutely, because what a young talent that Sri Lanka have with Dylan De Silva and Wasim Razik. He had to put away those opportunities, and he did very well, as the goalkeeper Ali Naji clears away desperately.
And the finishing was clinical. I think that we were talking about the finishing, and of course Wasim Razik has just finished a couple of great goals there. I think he was clinical, if I had to say exactly, because it wasn't hard once, but at the end of the day you have to finish those goals.
Absolutely, that's good work by Marvin Hamilton. And now
long
long ball,
here.
Dylan De Silva yet again. in the box. Can he find another teammate? He goes down, appeals for a penalty, but referee.
And the fans also really, putting their voices heard there to the referee, and they think that's a penalty.
You
the
can
fans.
see Amir Aljic and co. They desperately believe that Dylan's shirt was tugged, and if so, that would be a foul. But the referee do have the best view, and they don't get the privilege of having a second look at it. As now Maldives.
And also, the pitch is getting a bit slippery. You saw a short while ago, Wasim Rasik slipping, and when the ball bounces, it just bounces on the same spot, and that shows that now Mohammad Aqib getting ready. And Mohammad Aqib is a player who has great pace, so he can use the flanks very well as well.
And you do see Harsha Fernando as well, and from the Super League and other international matches, we know what Harsha is known for, that long run up and that long throw in, which could come in handy in the dying stages of the game. As Daxan Puslas going back to Sujan, I think the Sri Lankan players are starting to believe what you were saying. As Kavindu Ishan.
And also, Rahul, as I told you, result is another thing. But when you see matches like this, when you see intent of Sri Lanka team trying to win games, that is what the fans need to see.
Absolutely, because if this game had ended 4-0, fans wouldn't be happy. But now they can see what the players are trying to do.
Oh, Dylan again. Just trying to skip past Maldivian players, and Maldives almost everyone into their half. Dylan.
I think the momentum has completely changed. It's Maldives who are all in the box, as this could be the third goal.
That's a third goal!
It's the hat-trick. It's the hat-trick for Wasim Razik.
And also the third assist by Dylan as well.
Absolutely, a hat-trick of assists for Silva and a hat-trick of goals for Wasim Razik. And it's Wasim Razik's first ever international hat-trick. And what a
turnaround here,
I'm
Rahul.
finally going to start acknowledging the comeback opportunity.
And again, that kid Dylan just putting the ball straight into the path of Wasim
Brilliant
Razik.
assist by Dylan De Silva.
There you
And
see.
another clinical finish on the turn
Oh, that was
by
great
Wasim
finish.
Razik.
Actually, this goal has, even though he got the ball, he had a lot more to do to finish the goal.
Basically been, you could almost say Dylan De Silva and Wasim Razik against the Maldivian team, because it's been all them in the goals. But what a display we are seeing. And now, to make matters worse for Maldives, we see Mohammad Aqib and Harsha Fernando coming on, more attacking players for Sri Lanka. And Maldives also making a change. Ibrahim Hassan Wahid coming on in place of Hussein.
So we've got another 18 odd minutes. Mohammad Aqib coming for Kavindu Ishan. I think Kavindu Ishan hasn't had the best of the games today. We haven't seen a lot more from him.
He has been defended very well.
Yeah, and it's a good change, I think. Alajic has found the places where he could change, and he has done it. So this is a welcome change for Sri Lanka, just trailing by one goal, but the momentum is with Sri Lanka now. So Sri Lanka might, score another goal here. Maldives have to wake up.
What a fight back this has been from Sri Lanka. I was saying during the halftime break that the half, it would depend on what Alajic and the coaches can do with the team talk, and it seems like something has happened, because from 4-0 down, it's now 4-3, and we have just under 20 minutes left on the clock. And possession back with Sri Lanka. Harsha Fernando with his first touch of the game, but ball right back to Maldives.
Yeah, nice Fazan.
Can Maldives kill off any comeback chances that Sri Lanka are having? Not the best clearance.
Oh, that was a
Daxan
great
Puslas.
clearance that by Daxan, I guess. Again, Daxan being the...
Danger still not cleared. Dochaita Ratnayaka doing well, and I think he wins a goal kick for Sri Lanka. Good bit of defending.
Sri Lanka suddenly playing with lots of momentum, and the defending has been good. You see the long balls going straight to the Sri Lankan players now, suddenly.
And let's not forget that the 3 goals came not from those crosses that kept getting wasted. It was from direct passes to
Exactly.
Wasim.
And there has been a change of game plan as well. And Dylan, for me, if Sri Lanka scores another goal, that kid has to be the man of the match. You know, he has
I think
played
maybe
very
without
well.
that goal, he may be the man of the match because he has been, I think, the best player on the field, really. He needs to improve that crossing prospect a little bit, but other than that, he has been absolutely world class. And let's not forget, he's just 19 years old. Imagine what the future holds for this kid.
And there you see the hat-trick goal scorer.
Absolutely. Let's not forget the work and the goals of Wasim Razik. We keep talking about Dylan De Silva, but the goals had to be converted, and it's a hat-trick.
And especially the third goal, you know, he had to turn and he had to do a lot once he received the ball, but still he finished it, and that was a very good goal. And now Maldives trying to attack, and suddenly Maldives pass going here and there.
I think Maldives are starting to feel the pressure. You can see their head coach is now right on the touchline.
Marvin puts in a long ball.
Realistically, I don't think Maldives were expecting any sort of comeback, let alone 3 goals by the Sri Lankans. And they may be a little rattled, and it's up to the Sri Lankans now to keep riding that momentum because they have 15 minutes plus added time left. And if they can get a draw out of this at least, what a result that would be, especially on home turf in the opening game of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa trophy.
Rightly said, Rahul. So we got another 15 minutes, a quarter of an hour in the game. Akib. Oh, you can see suddenly, you know, the one-on-one passing has improved. For Sri Lanka again coming into a dangerous position here.
Dylan De Silva,
Nicely won by Maldivian player.
that was Ibrahim Aizam. Just took the ball out of Dylan's feet. But the possession back with Sri Lanka. What can be done? Seems that in the celebrations of the first goal, there is also Ahmad Chasni who has been substituted onto the field.
You can see suddenly Sri Lankan defense has been good. You know, when one-on-one situations, they have been a bit more physical now. They are putting their bodies in front,
Exactly.
across.
It's that motivation and the momentum because now they know that there is a comeback on and they are willing to put that extra effort, and they in the game of football you have to put your body on the line at times, and it's a time like that for Sri Lanka. As you see, Chaitra Ratnayaka looking absolutely exhausted, but it's at times like this adrenaline needs to kick in and they need to override that momentum. But on the other end, Maldives have to do a lot of work to try and keep Sri Lanka at bay for the last 15 minutes if they are going to keep these 3 points, because Sri Lanka are going to keep going at it until the last whistle. As a slightly reckless challenge by Asikur Rahman, immediately apologetic because I think he was afraid a card would come out, but referee keeping his cards in his pockets on that occasion. And you can see Amil Algic shouting at him to use his head, not to go for reckless challenges like that. And that was indeed a reckless challenge indeed.
I think the coach is right there.
Because there is something on the cards of Sri Lanka, but they need to keep their heads. They can't just go with wasteful challenges like that. And if they get a red card out of nowhere, that puts an end to any sort of comeback opportunity.
And also from the behind, you know, it's actually a reckless challenge, as you told.
It's one of those chances that Sri Lankan fans can be happy that the existence of VAR is non-existent in our country for now. But fortunately, the player seems to be okay.
And also, Rahul, you know, the Maldivians would try to buy some time here.
Absolutely, that's another good point because they can smell the momentum and they can see that the comeback that the Sri Lankans are chasing as another substitution. And it's that man, the goal scorer, Ibrahim Hassan Hussein, who is coming off in place of Hamza Mohammed. The number 10 for the Maldivian national team. And the player back on his feet. Now Maldives take the free kick. As expected, taking it short.
A nice ball that. Again, Sri Lankan's defense's position is quite good. And yeah, I see that change here. I've seen the second half. I've seen the positioning of the defense has been good.
Absolutely, and now they have something to fight for. As now Marvin Hamilton looking for his options. Going for the long ball, but defender in the way, and then the follow-up touch just too heavy by Hamilton. Can Ali Ashfaq lead Maldives to put an end to this attempted comeback by
You
the
can
Sri
see the
Lankans.
Maldivian fans really, backing their team and very vocal. Oh, that was a pull, a shirt pull, I guess.
Clear foul there. And this is one of those heart in the mouth moments for the Maldivian fans as well as the Sri Lankan fans alike, because on one end you have Maldives who are battling desperately to keep hold of all 3 points, whereas Sri Lanka are battling hard to make a really historic comeback and get at least a point out of this. But Sri Lanka are running out of time.
Another 10 minutes more. Can Sri Lanka get another goal? Or can Maldives score another goal and just put this game to the bed? Let's see.
Will be a throw in to Sri Lanka. Asikur Rahman going back to defender Ducks and Puslers, who goes back to skipper Sujan. Sujan opts out a long ball. Dylan De Silva couldn't get on the end of that, but Chaitra Ratnayaka does. Hamilton, they need to keep hold of position and try to get it into the box.
And especially players like Hamilton, very physical. They can use their physical prowess to just shrug off players. But again, that was a very disappointing ball, to be honest.
As I was saying, they need to try and go for the short passes and get built into the box, because the long balls are not working for Sri Lanka really. And as you saw, the 3 goals came from a short pass build up. So they need to do more of that, because they are running out of time. As another reckless challenge, fortunately the player jumped over it as Dylan De Silva
Again.
once again connects with Wasim Razik, but Wasim Razik, he was under heavy pressure and tried to get the ball in, but there was no teammate, as Chaitra Ratnayaka wins the ball back, but Wasim Razik well offside, and in the end another wasted opportunity. You can see how exhausted some of the Sri Lankan players are. They've been running their hearts out for all 80 minutes, and Wasim Razik, the hat-trick man for the Golden Army, is down, and all Sri Lankan fans will be hoping that it's purely a cramp. Unfortunately, it seems to be the case for Sri Lanka.
You can see the knee just getting stuck into the mud there.
That may be a little more than cramp, because as you rightly said, the awkward angle he went down in. But seems like he's okay to continue to come back on the field, as now Maldives
Maldives again going forward. I think this is a very good opportunity.
But once
Some
again,
good
brilliant
bit of
defending.
defending.
Also Fernando on that occasion at the expense of a corner.
That is the Maldivian coach.
Corner kick. Maldives will be desperate. Rather than trying to see this out for the 90 minutes, they'll be desperate to try and add a goal to put an end to the comeback that Sri Lanka are trying to build, as Ali Ashfaq takes the corner shot. Ball back with Ashfaq. Gets past the man, finds a teammate.
Sri Lanka teams or the players, trying to just lunge.
The Maldives know they have the lead. They don't need to take any risks and chances, so they are more than comfortable holding on to the ball rather than just always passing it forward. But it's the Sri Lankans who need to try and close them down and get the ball back into their possession. As we see Akib chasing it down.
Maldives
Some good
fans really putting up some nice now ball with Sri Lanka.
Maldives fans trying to give some support to their tiring players as the player goes down, and a free kick won by Mohammad Akib. Sri Lanka just over 5 minutes remaining on the clock plus added time. You can hear the Sri Lankan fans with their papare bands and everything, trying to give some morale to their team, trying to give them a boost of confidence and energy, as Sujan Pereira coming all the way up to the halfway circle to take this free kick. Sri Lanka, no, they have to go for it now. It's a lofted ball. But Marvin Hamilton couldn't head it towards any teammates, as now Maldives once again.
Nicely done there by the Sri Lankan player.
Good work by Harsha Fernando. Shazni, Chalna Chamira. Over the top ball. Dylan De Silva, can he do something? He does well, and that should be a corner. But it's not given as a corner. It's given as a goal kick.
Oh, suddenly Dylan is also on the ground.
Dylan De Silva, a case of cramps. Sri Lanka running out of time. The players need to try and power past this. Not too clear who it came off last, but referee has deemed it a goal kick, and goal kick it shall be. Wasim Razik not that enthusiastic with that decision. As we see Dylan De Silva, he has really been running his heart out on the field, the kid, for the last 85 minutes. He has been the player of the match, I have to say, for me, at least.
For Sri Lanka.
Absolutely, for Sri Lanka. And hopefully he'll be okay to continue, because even though not for this match, Sri Lanka will need him for the remaining 2 matches. Because what a talent he has been, as Hamilton once again not able to keep that under control. And now it's Maldives. It's the number 10 appealing for a handball, but obviously not from such close range. There's Asiku Rahman, Shazni. Running out of time here are the Sri Lankans.
Waiting for options, giving the pass back.
But what a start to the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa trophy this has been, Jana.
Exactly, a very entertaining match, Rahul.
Absolutely. An 8-goal thriller so far, with potentially more goals to come. But from which end is the question, as Sujan Pereira once again, absolutely brilliant work from the Sri Lankan custodian, came off his line and blocked it brilliantly to give Sri Lanka a fighting chance, as the Maldivian player going down far too easily.
And you can see Dylan just limping through the right side. And now Marvin Hamilton again with the ball.
Pass there, but unable to keep the momentum going with that attacking play. But now Shazni goes back to Chaitra Ratnayaka. Chaitra Ratnayaka trying to find Harsha, but Harsha not on the same wavelength and opts to go for Duxon instead, but now finds Harsha Fernando. Harsha Fernando tried to connect with Akib. Akib, brilliant pace, but kept it in, but no teammate nearby to take advantage of it. But
done there again.
But what pace by Mohammad Akib. That's what those fresh legs can bring you in these late stages of the game. Mohammad Akib, just a touch too heavy.
Ball goes out.
Got a throw into Sri Lanka. 2 minutes plus added time remaining, and this is the time where you say that you throw the kitchen sink at it.
Yes, you just take all the long shots.
Absolutely.
And just hope, the ball gets into the net.
Here we go.
There you go, the iconic long throw.
Harsha Fernando, can something come off this? I'm not sure if Chamod Dilshan is in the box.
Comes in. Yes, the throw comes in.
Couldn't reach Mohammad Akib. Dylan De Silva on the edge of the box. A vital challenge by the Maldivian defender, but intercepted by Shazni. And once again, crucially blocked.
Oh,
And
another
then
corner, I guess.
Deflection, and rightfully this time a corner for Sri Lanka. Asiku Rahman's long range effort, taking a deflection off the Maldivian player. And in the last minute of the regulation time, Sri Lanka have a corner kick opportunity. Can they make something of this?
Takes a corner, a very good corner that, but unfortunately not, into the right head there. I think it went to one of the Maldives player. Again, another throw here, but this time
And
for...
they don't have the height of Chamod Dilshan anymore, because he has been substituted off.
Rightly said.
They couldn't find a teammate as they should have, but
And you can see the Maldivians in no hurry to take the throw. Just
Absolutely.
casually walking towards the ball.
you can see the coach also signaling, calm down, take your time. But
3 minutes at a time.
3 minutes minimum of added time. Can Sri Lanka do something? But even if they can't, you have to say this has been an absolutely brilliant result, because as we mentioned before the match as well as in the halftime, Maldives ranked 156, Sri Lanka 204. The comeback that they put from 4-0 down, this has to be a result that they can take to heart at that Sri Lankan supporters. And of course, it has been that man who has been at the heart of that comeback, Dylan De Silva, 3 assists, as well as, of course, Mohammad Razik, the hat-trick man himself.
Exactly, Rahul. I think, more than the result, it's the intent, and also you have to see at how Sri Lanka came back into this game. They weren't really devastated with the 4 goals. They had the momentum to come back, and that's what is important. And also Wasim Razik getting the hat-trick today, even though still not losing, but again with the time up, if the score stays this way.
Now Maldives, Sujan Pereira came, gathered, and now can he quickly get his team on the way? He's running forward himself.
Launching the ball into the path of Dylan.
Doesn't go all the way.
In fact, it's Wasim Razik. Ball still with Sri Lanka.
Now Mohammad Aqib.
Ball goes for the corner.
And indeed, it will be a corner at this late stage. And you can see the bench waving everyone to come, and it's Sujan Pereira running forward as well. Though I'm not sure that Alajic is too happy about that. And indeed, Sujan Pereira being sent back. Oh, that could be
that's a goal! Sri Lanka gets a fourth
and
goal!
it's goal
What
number
a comeback!
for
Wasim
Wasim
Razik
Razik.
scoring the 4th goal there. What a comeback Sri Lanka has made
I'm
here.
not sure why Amir Alajic doesn't look so happy, but it's goal number 4 and a historic comeback for the Sri Lankans.
Absolute scenes here. Alajic is almost on his tears
I
here.
mistook the happiness for upset, but Jana, you said it first. I didn't want to believe it, but you said that could a comeback be on, and it has been a comeback of dreams for the
And
Golden
that
Army.
man, Wasim Razik, what a finish. Oh my God, that's calm and
And you
composed.
can see how
Sri
it-
Lanka getting the 4th goal. The match is tied. It's 4 goals Sri Lanka, 4 goals Maldives. And for me, this match is almost for Sri Lanka. Because, 4-0 down, at least to score a goal from 4-0 down, it's hard. But to come back as 4-4, it's something else. This is an outstanding game, and as we saw, the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021 has got off to an excellent start.
It has been a world-class performance in the second half by the Sri Lankans, and Wasim Razik just a little bit injured. Not injured, I'd say. I think it's a case of cramps. Maybe a little bit of time wasting, we won't know. But what a performance by Wasim Razik. 4 goals for Sri Lanka, 4 goals for Wasim Razik. What a player he is
God,
for
I
Sri
think
Lanka.
this is Maldives' game to lose, and of course, Sri Lanka, as we told, is ranked very well behind Maldives, and to get a point from this game.
Absolutely. I
is
think even if it
absolute.
ends 4-4, Maldives players and fans alike would feel like this is a loss, because they were leading 4-0,
And
and
that's
there
it.
you go. 4-4 at the end of 90 minutes at the Racecourse International Stadium. It was 4-0 at halftime for Maldives, but miraculously, Dylan De Silva and Wasim Razik, as well as the rest of the Sri Lankan team, Sujan Pereira, let's not forget some brilliant saves, has made it 4-4 at the very last second. What a
Exactly.
performance, what a comeback, and you said it first, Jana.
Oh my God, Rahul, the fans are delighted. And also, is this the beginning of something special for Sri Lankan football? If it is, then we are glad as well. I think everyone is stunned, especially that kid there, Dylan. He was the man who turned the game for me, because he's when all the players were a bit low on confidence, he was one guy who played with full of confidence and positivity, and his 3 assists for Wasim was too good. And again, the last two goals, Wasim made his own. And that's a great game.
Absolutely. I know his father, Shane De Silva, will be watching from UK very proudly. What a performance, that 19-year-old, and what a performance by Wasim Razik as well. 4 goals, all 4 goals for Sri Lanka came through that man. And as you said, it had to be clinical.
And right, Rahul, I think it feels more like a Sri Lankan win now.
Absolutely.
Because of the comeback. And there you see Ghani, Fuzzy, Hussein, and Ashfaq scoring goals for Maldives.
Absolutely. Ashfaq may have thought that he put an end to any sort of Sri Lankan comeback with that 4th goal, which made it 4-0.
Look,
but
63
Wasim,
Wasim. He was 63rd minute where they got the first goal.
And yet within less than 30 minutes, they got 3 more, thanks to Dylan De Silva mainly.
What a turnaround.
And what a comeback.
Okay, thank you. And that's the
And
coverage here.
that's the 4-4, as you can see. What a comeback that has been. Stay tuned for the highlights. I beg your pardon, stay tuned for the presentation. What a result for the Golden Army.
And we now take this opportunity in very warmly inviting for the presentation Get ready, everybody. We are getting ready for the presentation. Is everyone ready to applaud the most valuable player? Yes, get ready, everybody. What an exciting match it has been. To present the award, we'll be inviting very warmly the Minister of Youth and Sports and Community Empowerment of the Maldives, the Honorable Ahmed Mahlouf. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please welcome to the presentation area the Honorable Ahmed Mahlouf, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment. So we have the award for the most valuable player to be presented. Come on, keep the energy. Where's the energy? Keep it going, keep it going. Your applause, applause. Come on, everybody. The cheer. We need the cheer. What an exciting game that was. We couldn't have asked for better entertainment than that. Congratulations to the two teams. Come on, everybody, put your hands together for Maldives and Sri Lanka. And here we have the Honorable Ahmed Mahlouf, the Minister of Youth and Sports and Community Empowerment of the Republic of Maldives, who is also a former footballer and a former manager of the Maldives national team as well. So we are really honored to have you, sir. And we are now going to invite the most valuable player. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please put your hands together for Wasim Razik. Come on, come on. Where's the chair? Everybody, clap your hands. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, everybody. Make some noise, people. Wasim, where are you? We have the award for the most valuable player. Oh, he's right over there. Come on, keep the cheer. Keep the cheer. Come on, everybody. Make some noise. Keep the energy. Why are you silent? What an exciting match that was. What an exciting match that was. What a nail-biting finish that was. There you go. Wasim Razik, the most valuable player of the inaugural match of the four-nation invitational football tournament. Congratulations. and gentlemen, focus your attention to the presentation area because Wazim is going to speak. Over to Wazim.
First of all, thank you very much, our Sri Lankan fans and the Maldives fans for coming for this special tournament. After a long time, having a tournament at home is a big issue. You know, it was a hard match. You know, Maldives is a strong team. We knew it at the SAF Cup recently. And then if a team like Maldives leads 4-0, it was actually very hard for us, no? And but we came back, you know, as a big congratulations to my team, everyone, single one. Even after the 4-0, we came back, we were stronger, and we hope to get this for the future as well. Thank you. And where's my father? My father and my mother came all the way from Germany for this special match. I would just want to say hello. Where are they? Ah!
Many congratulations, Wazim. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Louder, one more time, and congratulate Wazim and Team Maldives and Team Sri Lanka. You gave us nothing but the best of entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Sri Lanka and the Maldives. And we'd like to say a huge thank you to the President of the Republic of Maldives, His Excellency Ibrahim Mohammed Solih, and Madam, thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, First Lady, for gracing this occasion. And also, a big thank you to the Minister of Youth and Sports and Community Empowerment of the Republic of Maldives, the Honorable Ahmed Malouf. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And also to our very own Minister of Youth and Sports in Sri Lanka, the Honorable Namal Rajapaksa. And Madam, thank you very much. And also, many congratulations to the President of the Football Federation of Sri Lanka, Mr. Jaswar Omar as well. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a wonderful crowd, and I'm sure you're looking forward to more matches. Okay, so this is an announcement about the next match. The next match will be between Bangladesh and Seychelles. The next match will be between Bangladesh and Seychelles. And what is the date? The date is 10th November 2021, and the time is 4 p.m. So we hope to see you. And thank you once again for being a part of this first ever four-nation invitational football tournament.
Welcome back to the live coverage of the post-match show of today's match between Sri Lanka and Maldives. Of course, this is the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa Trophy 2021 with 4 teams playing. And today's match, we had the host Sri Lanka taking on the Maldives. Maldives, of course, the stronger team, but Sri Lanka coming back from a 4-goal deficit to equal the game 4-4. And I've been joined again by Rahul. How was the game, Rahul?
That was a roller coaster of emotions for any Sri Lankan fan and for us in the commentary box as well, because going into half-time at 3-0 and then Maldives getting the first goal in the second half, making it 4, I thought that was the end, because you don't expect any comeback from that. And then Wasim and Dylan has been playing his heart out for all 90 minutes. He has been the best player for Sri Lanka, and you have to say with this result, the player of the game as well. And he kept getting into the right positions, getting into the right areas, and in the end, he kept getting the passes a little bit incorrect, but he kept at it, he kept going, he kept trying, and in the end, it kept working, because 3 times he connected with Wasim Razik, and all 3 times it resulted in a goals and that made Wasim Razik get a hat-trick. And after the first goal, you said, could this be a comeback? And I just laughed it off, because I didn't think that would be possible. And here we are now, 45 minutes later, 4-4.
Exactly. So in this show, we have few talk points, especially as we already just started. It's going to be about Dylan. So Dylan's game was so good. He's a 19-year-old kid, coming just straight off the back of. He plays for QPR's under 23, I guess. So, with player of that stature, he comes straight into the team. And he was the only guy, when Maldives was scoring 4 goals. Of course, we had some good performance from Sujan, and we had good performance from Duxon, also Wasim as well. But this guy was all positive. So when we were from the commentary box, we were seeing that this guy, even though the others were quite deflated, but this guy always had this positive attitude, wanted to get the goal. So how was the game, from Dylan's perspective, how do you see this?
Absolutely, because as you said, as I also said, he kept going, even though the passes didn't work out at the last section of the field.
Yeah, the last third was quite bad. No?
But he kept going at it, he kept getting into the right areas, he kept making those opportunities, and in the end, it worked out, because he found, as we said, Razik on 3 occasions, and in the last kick of the game, they got the 4th goal. But let's not also forget Maldives, because Ali Ashfaq in the second half scored his 57th goal for Maldives. He has been a historic player for the Maldivian national team, a record breaker, and unfortunately for him and the rest of the team, it just wasn't enough for them today.
So now we'll go back to the live action and then come back to the studio again.
Jai